Funerals actually take a lot more planning than I expected. With us using island cuisine for the first time, of course we were iffy, but once they came and showed us their service, their food, tasted their food and everything, we definitely use them again because their service and food is just awesome.
I'll ride with the horses, I'll swim through the sea, I'll climb to the mountain tops, won't you come follow me? I'll take time to notice all that I see, and after I've come so far, you know where I'll be. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. But life is a vision, that's how it should be. The world is a canvas, and the choices are free. At the end of the journey, where all is complete, they'll all wonder where I've gone, but you know where I'll be. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. Our dreams last forever, for all that we know. The roads come together, and that's where we'll go.
The Pampas,
an elite,
wish we go away.
because we are
real and direct.
no interest owns us.
And we have no interest but
The truth. Together we are exposing.
corruption.
Together we will reform criminal justice
Together,
We are fighting violence
against women and children.
We here at
Candid
will shine the light
on every corner of darkness.
Together, we are giving a voice
to the voiceless.
and forgotten.
Stay lit.
Together.
Together,
Together.
together, together,
we are giving a voice to the voiceless and forgotten.
We are Candid News Group. afternoon. Welcome to Candid. I'm Johnny Rosario.
And I'm Troy.
It is July 16th, this lovely Thursday afternoon.
Welcome to our studios here in the DNA building, 7th floor in Hagåtña, Guam. Thank you for joining us today. We have two main subjects today. One is, well, they're both on the heavy side of content.
Troy, please, because my butt just keeps getting bigger.
I got you a malasadas from 76.
I'm gonna eat it. I am. I can't help it. Our girlfriend, our sister, Vanessa, brought us some lunch too. We are very, very lucky here at Candid. People, you know, I love it so much because people out there still have great hearts and they just want to make sure they feed us, even though we're trying to go on a diet.
I don't know if this malasadas is good. I've never really liked malasadas before. Mm-hmm. I know Chris Carrillo is watching this and be like, hey man. Oh, that's not a Jamaican, not Hawaiian.
Oh, cousin.
Yeah, old cousin. You like poke fry. Chris Carrillo, Democrat candidate for senator. One of our friends here at Kandit, even though we just do not see eye to eye on some politics.
Yeah, who's that? Who?
No, Chris Carrillo.
Yeah.
Biga Beta. He's Democratic candidate for senator. Let's see, what other candidates for senator do we have here?
This is going to show us that we can disagree and still get along.
Yes, but some people you should just not get along with.
Yeah, but I'm not going to lie. If I'm not voting for you, I'm going to tell you, oh no, I'm not voting for you. I'm not going to pretend to be your friend.
Yeah, no kidding. So J.I. Cruz, I'm not voting for you. Matter of fact, I'm going to campaign against you. Joanne Brown, I don't think anyone should vote for you because you are corrupt. J.I. Cruz is corrupt. Welcome back, Brad Hewitt. Man, I haven't seen my friend in so long.
Half a day.
I love how Brad just incites everyone with the things that he says and
I
posts.
love it. I miss Brad. You know, when I first met Brad was at Rodriguez's fundraiser. Mm-hmm. We went over to the Sheraton. My first fundraiser, political, and me and Troy walk in, and here's this guy, bald head, white guy, howly guy, and we walk in, and the first thing he says to me was, how do you walk? And I said, what do you mean? He's like, your balls are this big. I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, Troy, who is that guy? Brad's very vocal. You know, he has his opinions on a lot of things, you know. But I enjoy it because we get to discuss, you know. And then, of course, it also helps me understand what's, you know, everybody's side to how they feel.
Yeah, I don't always agree with Brad.
Yeah.
Sometimes it goes like, whoa. But I love when people get all bent out of shape.
Me too.
When he posts something, it's the funniest thing to me. Hi, James Atkins, Jill Prado. He says, you guys on the seafood diet, you see food, you eat it.
Yes.
Hi, Norma Jean, our sister. Hi, Tanya. You know, one of these days soon, I think, Tanya, we're going to bring you the story of Tanya Mendiola. It is truly a heartbreaking and inspiring story of survival and accomplishment and success and beauty. And you guys we have to bring you that story. It is something else. Gina says, where did you get the malasadas from? Which bakery? The bakery of 76 Circle K, Sinahanya. Mm-hmm. Do they have this at all? I'm pretty sure they have this at all the 76s, right? Mm-hmm. You know, I bet you they have better stuff at Agate 76.
No, I think you have to go early because that place gets jam-packed.
I wanted to get us the chicken, but I guess I went there too early. I was there at 10:30 or something.
Oh, please, because you know me, I don't ever watch our shows again. Like, I don't like watching myself, right? Because I'm my biggest critic. I'm like, oh my God, Johnny. Oh my God. Don't shut it off, right? So I watched the chicken one.
The one we were just picking from the thing?
I couldn't help myself. I was just...
It's good chicken. It's better than the costly less chicken. Anyways, the first thing that we want to bring to you today, or have a discussion on, is Public Safety Commissioner Robert Guerrero. from the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. Now, we brought you stories about this guy before. There was a former employee of the Department of Public Safety who brought forward a harassment. Oh, sorry.
You have sugar.
A sexual assault complaint against him. And of course, it ran up to the governor's office. There were official complaints made at the Attorney General's office. And, it's just how corrupt the Torres Palacios administration is. It went nowhere. And if Department of Public Safety is receiving any kind of federal funds, that should be a cause for alarm that a sexual assault complaint went nowhere. And we also brought you the story of how the commissioner has been hiring his family members. We also brought you the story of how the commissioner moved things around so that his family members wouldn't get furloughed, but that other people who should not have been furloughed according to the merit system were getting furloughed. And of course, his own family members were sort of immune from the fiscal austerity going on in the Commonwealth. Well, he had his day in court, in legislative court, in Tina Sablan's court yesterday during, if I'm not mistaken, it's a budget hearing. It was a budget hearing of the legislature where Chairman Ivan Blanco was presiding and tried to keep some decorum because Mr. Guerrero lost it.
Yeah, I think him and Ed Byrne, or what's his name? What's that guy's name here?
Ed Byrne.
Ed Byrne and him are cousins. Maybe even brothers.
Yeah, but Ed Byrne's skinny.
No, yeah, but they have the same attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, dude, I didn't know this. My cousin Shelly was telling me that I'm actually related to Ed Byrne. He's married to my cousin.
Well, you're not blood related. That's by injection. So that
I don't know how many freaking relatives I've talked to about on this show.
Well, it just shows you're not immune to Kandit if you're doing something wrong.
My poor prima,
What?
Georgette, married to Rick Sanchez. When we did that thing about Rick Sanchez, and Rick is my friend too. I don't know, primo. We just couldn't avoid that story. It was unavoidable. I'm so sorry. But we couldn't, And then we talk about the Attorney General. We say bad things about the Attorney General married to my cousin. I dread seeing my aunt in public. Okay, so we're gonna start you from when Tina Sablan starts interrogating the Commissioner on Public Safety. Mind you, the highest law enforcement official in the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands for the local government.
Is this man?
Yeah, it's this dude. Here we go. Sorry, I have to disconnect my microphone 1 second. Can we get that other microphone up here the next time? The one where it'll point at my computer. You know what I'm saying?
Hi.
Right? Okay.
Within your department, as well as from constituents, about nepotism and hiring. And it is our understanding that your department has hired 2 of your sons, a brother, multiple nieces and nephews. Are you directly involved in the hiring of your family members?
No.
Can you explain how that happened?
Which particular case are you referring to?
When your family members had been hired since you came on board, what is the process?
Only one was
How do
hired
you
when I was on
recruit
board.
yourself?
Only one was transferred when I was on board. And I did not take part in any of his transfer.
Only one? Don't you have 2
only
sons?
one. I do have 2 sons. You asked me when I was on board. Since I've been on board, I only hired one. So one was transferred rather, I didn't hire, he was transferred now.
So when your family members are hired within the department, do you recuse yourself, or is there some other committee that determines their hiring? Could you explain that?
Wait. I just told you he was transferred from OPM, but OPM from Commerce. Number 1. Number 2, I was not part of the process. I recused myself from it.
You did.
As a matter of fact, specifically, I don't allow any of my kids actually to come work for the department.
Okay. But don't you have 2 sons that work for the department?
I did not hire the first one. I just told you which part don't you understand.
I see. And what about your multiple nephews and your brother?
We will establish decorum.
Mr. Chairman, if this is going to continue the way it is, we're done.
Mr. Commissioner,
What?
these are legitimate questions of public interest.
I just told you, you keep asking me. I just told you only one was transferred. The other two, my brother and my other son was hired before I came
So
aboard.
you don't have any other relatives that have been hired since the academies have been instituted, your nieces
Congresswoman,
and
half of these
nephews?
people here are my relatives. What do you say to that?
I'm asking you,
And I'm answering you.
how
What do
would
you say
you
to that?
address?
Okay, let's establish some decorum. Can we take a 2-minute recess? We'll come back to your questions,
And so that was the extent of that exchange, but a very lively one and a very telling one. Because this is the first time that Commissioner Robert Guerrero had ever been taken to task publicly and in an official forum about the hiring practices of, his hiring practices, hiring his family. And he was lying to the committee when he said that he had just hired one. According to the research we did, he'd hired more than just one. And then when he was pressed by Representative Tina Sablan,
He snaps.
and he says, half of these committees my relatives. Well, I bet half of the committee that's your relatives are probably thinking, don't say I'm your relative.
I'm not related
You are an
to you.
embarrassment. Number one, you're ugly. Number two, you couldn't pass a physical fitness test as the Commissioner of Public Safety. And number three, as the chairman of the committee said, he was just not practicing proper decorum. He's the Commissioner of Public Safety. But more importantly, he has a duty to tell the truth before the committee.
Mm-hmm.
And just like his boss, Governor Ralph Torres, Lieutenant Governor Arnold Palacios, they're not interested in
telling the truth.
accepting responsibility
Right.
or being held accountable for their actions. And so as the people of the Commonwealth, now we're going on how many weeks now since Congress passed the CARES Act, providing that unemployment money. It was March 27th that the Congress passed it and March 27th that the president signed it into law, correct? How many weeks has that been now, right? So that's April, that's 4 weeks, May, 8 weeks, June, 12 weeks. Now we're 2 weeks into July, so 14 weeks later. And the people of the Commonwealth are still waiting for their unemployment.
Mm-hmm.
Hundreds, if not thousands, of government of the Commonwealth workers have been furloughed or have received reduced working hours in some form or fashion. The pay of teachers, educators, has been slashed even before the pandemic. And yet Robert Guerrero has been on a hiring spree and a job protection spree for his own family. And he is upset that he has to
Answer for it.
Yeah, it's disgusting. He's disgusting in more ways than one. That he has the arrogance.
Can you imagine his work ethic?
Look at
What
him.
he does? No, what he does to people that question his authority.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine?
When they're below him, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
yes.
I know.
And it's more disgusting that the governor allows it. But he needs somebody like that in that kind of position.
Well, he needs someone to carry his bags when he
Yes.
comes off the plane, because that's what Robert Guerrero does.
Yes.
He rushes, for probably the only time he ever runs is when he runs to the tarmac of the airport so that he can grab Ralph Torres's bags, after he's done sticking his nose up Ralph Torres's butt.
Yes.
It's just disgusting. What a disgusting display.
Disrespectful.
Yeah.
MF.
Yeah. Bry Torres Mendoza Jr. says, I heard Governor Torres is going to Tinian for the deer meat dinner with Robert Arrington. Is this true? Is that guy still in the CNMI? Robert Arrington?
Why not? He don't have to pay for anything.
Doesn't he know that how many people are upset? He should be ashamed to just still be there. Karen Otiwi says, governing system need a total makeover for the better good for the people. And you guys have that. We all have that opportunity this November when we have elections. Mm-hmm. And there are some good people who are running for the first time. Mm-hmm. At least I hope they're good people. I believe that some of them really are good people. And to replace these terrible people, sorry excuses for leaders in both Guam and the CNMI, and also returning candidates who are just, if
Eager.
not,
They're
probably,
eager.
They're probably even worse than the existing ones. Esther F. Sound says, Tadza disciplining. Thank you, Al Borja, who says, we the people need Kandit. Let's see what else. Nadia Hukuk says they will make you qualified. Such BS.
So Leighton Borja says, don't forget to vote for Dennis Flores for Jigo Mayor, Biba, Guam.
That's a crowded field. The mayoral race in Jigo.
It is.
I think 6 people running for mayor. That's crazy. It's cray. Nadia says, that's Guam for you. Hire your family and friends before any qualified individuals. I'm glad you're saying that, Nadia, because it's not just Robert Guerrero, and it's not just the CNMI. It is also the government of Guam, the Leon Guerrero administration, many senators in the legislature, many different directors in the administration. It's the same sort of thing. And one of the reasons that this combination of Robert Guerrero and Joanne Brown on our show today is so appropriate, not just because they look the same, but because
I'm going to help.
It's not just because, they're a bit like, they're shaped the same. But because they act the same.
You're going to get me scolded.
If you could... Fran, it was me. I was the one making the fat jokes. If we all can remember back in, I believe it was 2016. Actually, I think it was 2016 through 2018. Then Senator Michael Nicholas had introduced a series of bills that always was defeated by the legislature or vetoed by Governor Calvo to roll back the pay raises that went into effect in 2014. And the first and loudest person who went up to battle the legislature and was quite disrespectful to senators was Joanne Brown. And I was trying to find the clip, and maybe we'll bring this to you tonight. Oh, because we're not done with Joanne Brown. Like this, we're gonna roll this story
until her wheels fall off.
Those are some. I feel sorry for those wheels. So, she was there, and she was lecturing the Senate. She was yelling at the senators, pointing at them. She is an intimidating figure. She is like 8'5", vertically and horizontally. And I'm not kidding. She was, if we can remember this correctly, and tonight we'll bring you the footage. We'll find the footage and we'll bring it to you tonight of Joanne Brown defending the pay raises of the administration. And she always said, I have no dog in this fight. These pay raises didn't affect me. She was talking about the 2014 raises. And what just slipped by the eyes of the media during that entire time that Joanne Brown was making those arguments was that since 2012, she had been receiving pay raises all the way through 2018. And the public auditor just came out with an audit, a performance audit yesterday, that says those were illegal. Even her hiring was illegally done because it was not done in conformance with the Open Government Law or the Open Government Act. And so Rory Respicio, the port general manager, now whom Joanne Brown, she has called him corrupt. She said that he's crooked. She said he's incompetent. But you know what?
Show it to me.
Yeah.
Show me it.
There ain't one audit, one in findings of investigation, nothing that says that can back up what
Anything
Joanne Brown
she
is saying about Rory Respicio. Not one. There is a whole performance audit backed by evidence that backs up the claim that Joanne Brown is a crook. And I thought Rory Respicio has been quite magnanimous toward that heifer. And I'm not trying to just be funny about it. She really has done a lot to hurt people. She's not just corrupt. She has also done quite a lot to hurt quite a few people. And the fact that she's running for senator, we should have a more pronounced discussion about what Joanne Brown has done. But first, let's hear what Rory Respicio...
Can I just state this?
Yeah.
That this all leads back to 2012. That is a lot of years, Troy. And we're not done with the people that colluded with each other to do this. This is not only about Port 7. This is about the people of Guam and the things that they have done. They were so loud on making things up. There's just so much. So we will give you piece by piece everybody that was involved and what they have done with proof.
Yep. Yep.
We're not just talking, we're not just pulling this out of our butts, our big butts.
Pam Duvall says she is a giant. Let's hear what Roy Respicio told Kandit yesterday. Hi, buenas, Mr. Respicio. This is Johnny, Troy, and Kandit Land.
Hi, Troy. I'm calling in response to a breaking story that you broke.
Yes, we're explaining to our audience right now that a story that we did back in April of 2019 has now met the confirmation of the public auditor in a performance audit that was just released this afternoon. Can you tell us, can you give us just a reaction first?
First, I want to recognize Kandit, you and Johnny for, as you said, breaking this story in April 2019.
Thank you.
To bringing this matter to the public auditor's attention. And we have been working very closely with the public auditor. And if you see in the audit, we actually have a management's response to his draft audit findings. And so we're certainly not surprised with the public auditor's findings surrounding Joanne Brown's illegal hiring and pay raises. If you notice in that audit, it appears that Joanne Brown will have to pay back all of the money she received illegally. And
good.
Since the audit finds that she was also hired illegally, it may even affect her service credits to the retirement fund and the calculation for annual retirement annuity for all the years she was at the port. I'm sure that Joanne Brown will take her usual stance and blame others that the public auditor has exposed her illegal pay raises. But the question is really if she would be held criminally liable. We're going to certainly discuss this with the board to determine how we can go about getting the money that she illegally took from the port and the people of Guam. And so that
And so Roy Respicio was right about all of that. So he's right that she needs to pay it back. And hopefully we're going to get something from the Attorney General's office today that says that. He's right that it does, because of the illegal hiring, it may affect her calculation of her pension. Because, you all didn't just get screwed on her salary, which went from $114,000 on December 2012 to $169,000 by January of 2019.
Which left the port in a deficit.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
wait. That 2019, Roy Respicio and the team, just the numbers, it speak for itself.
Yes.
We need to remind everybody that $100,000 she was making, 9 pay raises in 7 years. I don't know I thought you get a raise every year?
Well, ideally you get a raise with performance, based on performance, and it shouldn't be more than once a year.
Okay,
because
so
your
she got
performance
9
review
raises within 7 years and left the port in deficit.
Yeah. But it's not just the raises, it's also now she's raiding the retirement fund because she's retired. And her pension was based off of these raises and this illegal hiring. And yes, it was the old plan. So Rory was right about that, but he's also right about what Joanne Brown would say. So that was yesterday that we had this discussion with Rory Respicio. And this morning, or actually last night, Joanne Brown released a statement to the other media. And this morning she was on Phil Leon Guerrero's show on News Talk K57. Of course, she's not going to call Ray Gibson, because Ray Gibson would probably ask her some pretty tough questions.
Yes.
He'll probably call her to the carpet. I mean, I'm sure he can't wrestle her, but I'm sorry. But, however, at the end of the day, this morning when she was talking to Phil Leon Guerrero, Joanne Brown did, as Roy Respicio said that she would do. She didn't say a darn thing about the audit findings, about the illegal raises or the illegal hiring, except to say, every rule was followed. No, it wasn't. The audit clearly backed up by citations of law.
Their rules.
And the documents showing that it didn't happen the way Joanne Brown is saying it happened, shows that she was illegally hired and that she received illegal and retroactive pay raises. So she didn't take any responsibility for any of that. Instead, what she did was she called Roy Respicio incompetent, doesn't know how to do his job, he just has a bone to pick with her, then attacked the public auditor himself, saying that, his hands are not clean in this. You know what? No matter what the public auditor's former life was as a politician, he's a public auditor now, his work is based off of his office's work. And he has some pretty good, very nonpartisan accountants and auditors working in his office. Because it ain't just BJ Cruz who puts these audits together.
And we voted. The people of Guam
Overwhelmingly for BJ Cruz.
voted for him.
Yeah.
So she's not only saying those two are incompetent and their hands are dirty. She's saying that we, as a people,
are incompetent.
Just
because she won't take responsibility for her illegal pay raises. And then there was a point brought up, and they said, it was the board that allowed these pay raises and the illegal hiring that's to blame, not Joanne Brown. Not necessarily so, because at least one of those documents was signed only by Joanne Brown at the time that raise was given. And for more of this, because Kandit first brought you this story in April of 2019. And that was when we wrote a complaint to the public auditor and to the attorney general about Joanne Brown's illegal pay raises. And so we first did the story in April 2019. We rehashed it in August of 2019. And that's, you guys can hear now. We had to scrub it, by the way, because in April of 2019, I was cussing a lot. So you might hear a lot of bleeping, but it's very funny. Well, why would these conspirators push so hard and so aggressively? Why would they threaten witnesses, tamper with public records, slander people, trying to sway public opinion? Well, money. It's always about money. For people like this, for greedy ass people in the establishment, it's always about the money. It's always about the power, but the power is always about the money. It always comes back to the money, and there's a paper trail. So let's talk about Joanne Brown. And you know what? Joanne needs a lot of money in order to feed her fat ass, okay? Like, it takes a lot of krill to feed a whale. And you know those jet puffed marshmallows? The bag of that, just one bag of that is like, what, $2.99 or something. Imagine a Joanne-sized bag of jet puffed marshmallows. How many Rice Krispies treats you could make? Think about that. The cost to Joanne Brown's daily, lunch, is extraordinary, people. Okay? So, for Joanne, it's just like anybody else. It's about the money. It's about her ability to eat. The man needs to eat. In just a few short years, in a 6-year period, between the time that Joanne was appointed in an emergency meeting of the Board Port Authority on December 10, 2012, to the end of the Calvo administration on January, whatever that was, of this year. Joanne Brown received 7 different pay raises, and she received pay raises during a time when increments were frozen at the Port Authority as well. Sorry, I said 7. 7's the number of years. My coworkers are like, 12, it's 12. Sorry, okay, I made one mistake. Jesus Christ. This verify over here. So, in a 6 to 7 year period, Joanne received not just an additional 12 notches on her belt, but 12 pay raises in a 6 to 7 year period. This is definitely more than any employee the Port Authority has received in that period, and it was during a period when increments were frozen as well. She started, the effective date of this personnel action for Joanne was December 14, 2012. The effective date was December 12, 2012, but the action was written on December 14, 2012. And we're going to look into that because there's something fishy about that 4-day period. But she was hired as the deputy general manager in this 4-day period at a pay of $101,870 per year. That is just the base pay. That doesn't include the benefits and all that. And as a career employee, and I'll get to that in just a second, as a career government of Guam unclassified employee, Joanne is being paid a lot in retirement. And then 9 days later, the effective date December 19, 2012. I mean, it was a Merry Christmas for Joanne. As all those employees were getting fired, she became the general manager of the port, and her salary jumped from $101,870 to $114,982 per annum. And then an adjustment was made, signed off by Daniel J. Tidinko, Chairwoman, Board of Directors, Port Authority of Guam. This was during that 9-day period. They felt it necessary on the 4th day to increase her deputy general manager's salary from $101,000 to $111,000. And then on the 20th, that's when she got that personnel action. They bumped her up in the personnel system from an R4A to an R4D, from $114,982 to $118,467 on the same day of that personnel action on December 20, 2012. You know what's funny about this, and I didn't even see it until now? This adjustment in her salary was retroactive by 4 months. It was dated by Daniel J. Tidinko, Chairwoman, on April 23, 2013, but for pay that would begin December 20, 2012. We'll look into that as well. Another pay adjustment. And then on October 11, 2013, this is interesting. This is another instance of a 4-month lag. The effective date is 4 months retroactive to the date of this personnel action, but it gave her retroactive pay increase from $118,467 to $124,510. And then on January 21, 2014, another personnel action was cut, making a retroactive pay increase by 1 month. The effective date is December 19, 2013, raising her pay from $124,510 to $130,861. Jesus Christ. Then, holy. On May 13, 2015, the port issues, and this one is now signed by Francisco G. Santos, Chairman, Board of Directors. On May 13, 2015, the port issues a personnel action retroactive by 6 months to December 19, 2014, increasing her pay from $130,861 to $137,536. I could have sworn that the legislature during this period made retroactive pay raises illegal. We'll check into that. And then another retroactive increase from signed by Francisco Santos, Chairman, Board of Directors, a personnel action cut on February 4, 2016, retroactive by 2.5 months to December 19, 2015, raising her salary again from $137,536 to $144,552. Jesus Christ. One of the highest paid, definitely one of the highest, probably the 3rd highest paid official in the government of Guam by this point. The highest being the chief medical examiner, followed by the president of the University of Guam, and by this time she would be the highest paid administrator within the government. And then on October 25, 2016, another personnel action retroactive to October 1, 2016, raising her salary from $144,552 $149,560 to $149,344. Her hourly rate, $71.80. And this is funny. Signed by Felix Pangilinan, the acting general manager. It was signed by her underling. It wasn't signed by the chairman of the port board. And then another retroactive increase in pay on January 9, 2017, effective December 19, 2016, from $149,345 to $156,963. Signed by Oscar Calvo. Oh, that fat. He's so dumb. Oscar Calvo is a dumb, fat. I don't know how the that guy. I don't even know how he wipes his ass. He's so dumb. Oscar Calvo, vice chairman of the board of directors, effectuated that personnel action for Joanne. They swim in the same tank, but Joanne probably runs circles around him because Oscar's just that dumb. And then this one, the nature of this action is now called a salary increment, not a raise. Issued February 6, 2018, retroactive to December 19, 2017. Raising her salary from $156,963 to $164,970. You know, if it weren't for the dollar signs in front of these numbers, I would think these were her annual increases in weight. And then again, holy shit, man. And then again, Joanne Brown signs a notice of personnel action for herself on September 24, 2018, effective September 16, 2018. And that's better in terms of retroactive, but still retroactive, probably illegal. Raising her salary from $164,964 to $169,977.60, capping her hourly rate at $81.72. Joanne, not only is she fat, but she's also old. She's on the old retirement plan, which means that prior to her retirement, retiring from the government of Guam, I see, on the DB plan, and in her final personal action, it says yes, retirement, DB. She cashed out at a rate of $81.72 times 320 hours, a lump sum payment made for the accrued annual leave to the employee's credit. Cashes that out, signed by Francisco G. Santos, Chairman, Board of Directors. And then her highest three salaries, so the $169,977 plus $164,964 plus $156,963. The sum of those three numbers divided by 3 to produce the average. 80% of whatever that average is what she will receive per annum for the remainder of her life. And since she's on the old plan, her spouse, whoever that poor soul is, would receive the pension death benefit. It's all about the money, folks. They did it for the money. They all played their part so that they could get the money they wanted, have the lifestyle that they wanted, be able to buy all the food that they wanted at pay less. She got 12 pay raises. She started at $101,870. She ended at $169,977. She cashed out a huge lump sum at $320. You know. So, okay, first, I just want you all to know, in case you're kind of new to Kandit, that I am a different person these days. I was very angry back then. And yes, I do enjoy the occasional fat joke. But boy, that was pretty bad. Like, that was pretty bad. First time I'm rewatching that. I can't believe I said that about Oscar Calvo. Whew, I was angry. But the information never changed. So the audit didn't include the pay raises that Joanne Brown received when she was the assistant general manager. And she was the assistant general manager for 12 days, if I'm not mistaken. No. 17 days. No. 14 days. From December 5 through December 19, I think it was, of 2012. And then the pay increases that happened during that time, whatever, above step, blah, 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 that she was getting. Anyway, so there was a total of 12 pay increases. And for those who believe that it's only the board who is culpable in this case, no, it's not. There was at least one of those illegal pay raises that Joanne Brown only signed off on. She gave it to herself. Yeah, absolutely. This is information that we presented back in, that was April of 2019, right?
Yeah.
We also called Joanne Brown. And it was a live thing. We did it from my desk at our old office.
We really enjoy these calls.
Were you able to bleep that one out, Chano?
I didn't pull that one.
You didn't pull that one? Oh, okay. Well, it's very cuss heavy.
Yes.
But we called her up. I said, "This is Troy Torres from Kandit." She belly laughed a little, and then she hung up the phone. And then we called Dan Tidinko, because Dan Tidinko is the chairwoman of the sorry.
No, you're right. You're right. Dan Torgun Tidinko.
The chairman of the board of the port during a lot of the time that Joanne Brown was getting these pay raises, and of course during the time that she was hired illegally by the board. And so we called him up. I said, Mr. Tidinko, what do you have to say about the illegal pay raises granted to Joanne Brown? He chuckled just a little bit, and then he hung up the phone.
They all do.
They didn't. What's he gonna say? What's he gonna say? Oh, She
hung up on you, but she got a lot to say on other shows, you know?
Well, you know, 'cause she's not gonna be called to task for it. Thank you, CNMI Stronger Together, who says Kandit is the best news. We appreciate that so much. This infestation of corruption in the government of Guam is not new, and it does not belong only to the Leon Guerrero administration. Now, maybe it's that the Leon Guerrero administration has just been screwing up so bad. And the corruption has just been a little too obvious, way more obvious than it was in the Calvo administration. But I will guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, as someone who was in the Calvo administration, the corruption was bad. And Joanne Brown was at the center of a lot of it. And so was Dan Tidinko. And people who are running for the legislature now, Joanne Brown, J.I. Cruz, Tony Atta has embraced J.I. Cruz. He embraced Ray Tenorio. We're finding a connection between Ralph Torres and Guam businessman John Ko with one of the senatorial candidates on the Republican side. Louise Muña and her connections to the gambling industry on this island. Amanda Shelton's direct connections, her direct benefiting from
They're
being...
not the only one, Troy. I'm doing the research. I'm inputting it, and I'm seeing what senators received
money.
All this money from the gambling industry, and there's one that I was really surprised about, and that's Selena Nelson.
Yeah, first three, right?
Yeah,
first three donors.
No, five.
First
corporate,
five.
Yeah, the first three personal donors, and then the two corporate.
And they're big donations.
They're big
too,
donations,
right?
yes.
It's amazing. And then doctors, the kind of doctors who are against the reform of the Medical Malpractice Mandatory Arbitration Act. Truly, guys, our only real bet to getting rid of corruption, at least in this election cycle, we can only hope, is that we elect new candidates. And I think Ken Leon Guerrero is right. I think our best hope is just to check mark the names that you haven't heard of before. Because it's taking a gamble, sure, but are we going to go with the sure bet of the corrupt people who are already in there and the corrupt people who were in there and are running again. And Joanne Brown is just it's a manifestation of this problem. This audit on Joanne Brown, it's validation for the research and the investigation that we did into it. It is vindication for people like the Port 7 people who she really hurt. And not by sitting on them either.
And guys, can I just say the information we reported to the public auditor and the AG about this situation, this is all public information.
Mm-hmm.
These are documents that you can request for and do your own research. So here we either we get a tip or we go off a hunch that because Troy's a very smart man. Very malati, si Troy, okay?
No.
So he knew a lot about the wheeling and the dealing and how processes go, because we get tangled up in the process. They confuse us on purpose. So, yeah. And Pam's right, change is good.
Absolutely. We just need to vote in new people. It's just as simple as that. Now, this audit by BJ Cruz is just the third in a series of 4 audits. There's a final audit coming of autonomous agencies hiring and raises for its agency heads. The first 2 were GPA and GWA. Now comes this port one. Now, when the GPA and GWA audits came out, the Attorney General's office said the following. The Office of the Attorney General responded to the audit released today by Public Auditor Benjamin B.J. Cruz and agreed that there appears to be irregularities with employee pay raises and bonuses and potential violations of Guam law. In May, the OAG asked the Office of Public Accountability to conduct an audit of raises given to unclassified employees by autonomous agencies. Last month, the OAG and OPA formally announced their collaborative effort to ensure that government agencies follow the rules when discussing and making decisions about employee compensation. Quote, "We appreciate the ongoing partnership with the OPA and are confident that our continued work will ensure accountability and integrity in public service," said Attorney General Liven Taitano Camacho. Now, I want to be, so whenever I am wrong about a person, I want to say so. And just this reminder from the Attorney General's office today that the Attorney General in this case about the audits into this compensation actually he was the one who asked the OPA to do the audits. And the fact that they've been working together on this, maybe I was a little impatient in my judgment of the Attorney General.
Yeah, because all of these investigations, we did this in April 2019. They started in November.
Well, no, in May, actually. This is
April, May. Oh,
just 1 month later. Yeah. And I believe it was just...
We're very impatient here at Kandit.
Yeah.
We want it done.
What about the other things, AG?
Yeah.
Well, there are there's the high-end stuff, and yes. And what I got to say to that is hopefully our AG can do better when it comes to that. But in this case, and this is a big deal, this is about the people of Guam having some confidence that their government can be trusted, if not all the time, then at least sometimes. That not everything is going to go by the wayside, and that there's just injustice all around. And then this is the November that you're talking about, Cello. November 24, 2019, in a joint release between the public auditor and the Attorney General, the Attorney General and the public auditor have teamed up to tackle the misuse of government funds and uphold the rule of law. BJ Cruz and Liven Camacho will review the practices of government agencies to determine if they are following the laws on paying government officials. This collaboration comes after the Attorney General discovered that the Consolidated Commission on Utilities held closed-door discussions on pay raises and bonuses for certain employees. This action violated the open government law, which requires that any discussion about salaries be held in public setting. This is the same exact thing that the performance audit on the port said about the hiring of Joanne Brown, was that the discussion on her hiring was done behind closed doors. And what does Joanne Brown say about it on Phil Leongro's show this morning? She says, it was all done according to the law because legal counsel was there. I'm sure legal counsel was there. And everything with the media was invited to everywhere. No, Joanne. Don't obfuscate this issue. Don't try to deflect with all of your blaming, and you're very articulate and you're very good about just talking and blabbering and blubbering. I'm sorry. Jesus, I'm sorry.
I knew that was coming.
I just can't help myself. Sorry. But it's the same thing. What the performance audit is saying about her hiring is the same thing that the Attorney General went after in the GPA-GWA case. It continues, following this discovery, the Attorney General requested the public auditors to audit the practices of autonomous agencies relative to employee compensation. Quote, "The law is clear. Government officials cannot make decisions behind closed doors, especially when those decisions involve spending of taxpayer dollars. We will continue to work with the public auditor and other government partners to push for transparency in our government, to enforce our laws, and to hold people who break the law accountable for their actions," unquote. If agencies or government officials are found to be violating the open government law or any other laws, the Attorney General would decide on a case-by-case basis on the most appropriate remedy, which may include civil, criminal, or administrative action. Quote, "A critical component of our strategic plan is to actively pursue critical partnerships to ensure our overall effectiveness as an audit office. Our partnership with the Attorney General is no doubt a win-win situation for the people of Guam," said BJ Cruz. But just to repeat, what the Attorney General and the public auditor is saying, on a case-by-case basis, they will decide on the most appropriate remedy, which may include civil, criminal, or administrative action. Before the end of today, we hope to have that answer from the Attorney General's office.
I have a comment from WhatsApp. It says, the illegal pay raise for Joanne should note the conspirators all the way down to the HR administrator who signed off and cleared the pay raise. HR administrators are responsible to administer pay administration according to the law.
Well, at the time, remember, they fired Joanne Brown, fired Francine Rocio, the HR administrator.
Right.
So at the time, it was an acting HR administrator. Right. Who was that? I don't know who that was at the time.
Yeah,
but when you don't have someone honest like Francine Rocio at the helm, I mean, maybe that was all part of the plan to begin with. Get rid of the honest one so that you can do all this dishonest stuff. Right? I don't know. Ekwa de sati corrupted zu, said Congresswoman Janet Maritita. For Kandit News, good afternoon. I'm Troy Torres.
And I'm Johnny Rosario.